Hello, and welcome to this edition of What's Up in ELPS, the show that highlights what's going on in your schools, brought to you by your kids. I'm John Drake.
And I'm Anthony Federici.
On October 23rd, representatives from over 90 colleges, technical schools, and military recruiting centers converged in the gym to greet and answer questions from interested students. Representatives shared information about their respective schools' special academic programs, athletics, career placement services, and social life. We spoke with some ELHS students who attended the event.
My name's Jess Wang. I'm a junior. I think they did a really good job of setting up and telling people what their best professors are in each major and field.
My name is Katie Roeder, and I am a sophomore at East Longmeadow High School. I've seen several colleges. I've also stopped to look at the Army and the Navy and the Air Force, which they do have set up there. I still have a couple more booths to go. It's fun. All the people are really nice, and they really want you to go to their school. So, just stopping there and asking them actual questions that matter actually makes them smile so much. And I was talking to the Army guys, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, look, she's actually interested." So they were really fun and nice and down to earth, and they just understood all the questions I was asking, and they answered them fully. So it was great.
Gaetano Mancuso, freshman at ELHS. It's been really, really good, actually. I'm really glad. It's a real wake-up call that things are going to get really real in a couple years, that I'm going to need to take stuff a lot more seriously than I am right now. Actually, I looked at West Point and the Naval Academy, which I did visit today.
College is very much on the minds of ELHS seniors, who are in the home stretch of the application process.
A group of seniors recently sat down in our studio for a conversation about how they've dealt with the college process. Here are Aaron Cochran, Connor Lohman, Mohit Mali, Jake Wilson, and Matt Boucher.
Where are we in our application process?
Oh, is that me first? Okay.
Jake Wilson.
All right, I'll go first. Well, at this point, I got Common App all filled, visit every school that I'm, applying to, and early action deadline is Sunday, right? So this weekend's gonna be, very, very busy.
Busy, yeah.
And looking forward to writing essays.
For me personally, it's a pretty stressful process, going through just the Common App in general, and you have to find out all this information, your GPA, class rank they ask for it too.
Guidance counselors, initial.
Yeah, that really throws me off.
Yeah, letters of recommendation, all these things you have to do in a limited amount of time. It's tough sometimes, so.
We kept telling ourselves we have so much time, and then you get down to it, and it's I have less than a week left.
Yeah, I have
You're sitting there,
days.
and you're like, well, I still have to write half of my essay, still have to fill out half the Common App, plus I have other applications that aren't through the Common App.
Yeah.
Then they throw the senior project at you.
And then they throw the senior project at you.
Oh my goodness.
Could you send in a work log of how much work you've done?
It's no.
Not that really.
Definitely prepare.
Get down and do your work.
Do the work, but don't stress yourself out too much. Definitely try to have that balance. Yeah. You still got to have your friends and everything.
Yeah, you got to have some sort of social aspect,
exactly.
Otherwise nothing's worth it.
I feel the way senior year is structured, if you start at the beginning of the year, you have plenty of time for everything, but you only have the exact amount of time for everything. So if you get behind, you're just screwed.
If there's any advice I could offer to someone, it'd be start early. Start maybe late junior year.
Yeah. Start in the summer. A friend of mine from Texas sent his regular decision papers in on June 30th.
Wow.
And he's already been accepted to 5 or 6 schools.
Oh, really?
And he's only waiting on one more school to get back to him.
That's insane.
And it's
nice.
mid-October, so he's pretty sad.
We'll be talking to more seniors in the coming weeks, both college-bound and those pursuing alternative paths to their futures. So stay tuned to future programs.
President Obama recently announced a plan to limit standardized testing in America's public schools. While the details of that proposal aren't really part of everyday conversation in the schools, everyone knows standardized testing comes with benefits and drawbacks for educators and students. Sam Leone spoke with ELHS science teacher Steve Eckstein and junior John Torsha last week about the president's initiative and the reality of standardized tests in ELPS.
Because I think at the end of the day, standardized testing is not the way to go. and seeing the president, talk about being against the more standardized testing, an increased number of standardized testing, and capping it, I think that's a significant improvement.
I think that he's in the right direction, saying that the 2% is, that's a good benchmark to start out with. Maybe it'll get a little less as time goes on, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good percent to start. 2% is not that much.
Because my philosophy is I think a one-size-fits-all process is not going to work for students in the future. It's not going to help us compete, and we're not going to be sustainable to compete with other countries at the end of the day.
In biology class, we really rushed through a lot of the stuff because anything that's in the curriculum that the frameworks post on a yearly basis, any of that stuff could be accounted for in the test. So we really need to rush to make sure that we hit a little bit of everything, and that causes a lot more stress for both the teachers and the students.
We had a pretty good system going on with MCAS. Yes, obviously kids didn't like take MCAS, and I don't even like standardized testing in general, but we had a better system when we had MCAS, and now we're transferring to a new system. We've had a lot of problems with implementing it. We're now going to have a ballot initiative in the next upcoming election to try and take us off the Common Core standards in the state of Massachusetts. State after state have said, no way, we're not going to be doing this test. So it's a big mess, and we just, at the end of the day, need to wash our hands of it, and let's create systems at the statewide level that are better for students and teachers and parents.
It's been a long time since we've had MCAS. We've had MCAS for, let's see, 15, 16 years now, something like that. So it's about time that Obama says, we got to cut back on this, because the other countries, like in Europe and Scandinavia, that are not performing standardized testing are kicking our butts in, achievement levels. They're much higher than us. So we need to probably get away from the standardized testing, and I think Obama's making the right moves. I think people are starting to feel that way.
A lot of the urban school districts, they're getting piled with these standardized testing. We have one test a year. They have all of these tests. They have and when they originally really started pushing standardized testing, it was thought to be a good thing. And in theory, all this standardized testing is great, but again, in actuality, it doesn't help the student. It makes the student's stress. We have to look at the student's needs before the teacher's needs. Our priority is the students.
Now to Birchland, where the students Mr. Nag's TV production class have produced short video lessons on some fascinating topics of current historical interest. Today, in the spirit of Halloween just passed, a look at the Salem witch trials in Massachusetts by Riley Shaw, Madison Cochran, Mia Ecker, and Sam Gutierrez.
In Salem, Massachusetts, 1692, men, women, and children were accused of doing witchcraft. The Salem witch trials were a series of hearings and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft. People say that if you go to Salem today, you can almost feel the spirits around you.
I don't believe in witches necessarily, but I believe that if you go to Salem now, there is a spooky, creepy vibe, that there are kind of the spirits of the witches that were accused of being witches, the people being accused of witches are still there, I think. And it's it has a spooky feeling. So I don't believe in the legend, but I do believe that there's a feeling in Salem now after years like that.
Salem in the late 1600s was a very harsh time. The first convicted witch was Bridget Bishop. She was hanged that June. The witch hunt started in Salem, but quickly spread to the neighboring towns.
Usually they put you on trial and they'd ask you questions about religion and ask you questions about what you were doing. They would test you to see if you were a witch. They would do things like throw you in water, and if you floated, you were supposed to be a witch, or vice versa. They'd give you a rock and throw you in water, and if you sank, you were supposed to be a witch. So basically the trials were set up so that these women that were put on trial, and even men sometimes, would automatically be accused of being a witch. There was no way to really win the trial.
There were over 200 people accused, and 20 of them were sent to death. The people believed that in 1692 that the devil would possess women, men, and children to do things he wanted them to do.
In the 1600s, people were really, really religious. So if you were considered a witch, basically you were like someone that worked for the devil. So that was a big deal to them. So they all believed in God and being holy, while you were someone, if you were a witch, you were working for the devil. So that was like the opposite of what they believed in. So that was a really, really bad thing to be accused of. So that's why it was such a big deal.
It all ended when the mayor's wife first became accused. Everyone gave apologies to all the accused witches and their families.
What happened was people started to become suspicious that all these people were being put on trial, and a lot of them were innocent. And
This has been Riley Shaw, Madison Corcoran, Mia Eckert, and Sam Gutierrez reporting.
Finally, an update from Mapleshade, where students have really embraced the kind of knowledge sharing that new media platforms like What's Up can provide. First, here's Vivian with her demo of Storybird, a visual and text tool for building stories with inspiration from thousands of original illustrations.
Hi, my name is Vivian. Today I'm going to show you an online writing program called Storybird. Let's go. As you can see, it says your words are art, create something amazing today. So you can pick from all these types of different art to create a story. Let me show you mine. The title of my story is Friends. And so right here it says, hi, my name is Amy. If you are reading this, you might want to stop. You seriously do not want to know what happened to the last person who read it. It wasn't pretty. Sadly, that happened. Yep, you get the picture now, right? Well, I hope you do. Okay, where was I? Turn down your music, Nick. Sorry, that was my brother. If I wanted to add to this story, here's what I would do. You can either insert artwork or a divider. A divider makes a little space right here that looks like that. And then if you want to insert artwork, click on artwork. And then you can click on this little blue thingy right here. And then you get to select a different image if you don't want that image. Like say I wanted this image. Then you just click on done. And then there you have the picture. And then you can write anything else like I like to play soccer or something like that. This program provides us many creative ways to write our stories. When your story is complete, you can even publish it and create a real book. I hope you enjoyed learning about Storybird. Bye.
Thanks, Vivian. You can visit storybird.com to learn more. Now, here are two engineers taking Mapleshade by storm. Mindstorm, that is. The programmable robotics building system from LEGO.
Hi, I'm Tyler, and he's Justin, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our LEGO robotics program for science. Let's go! So, our first step was to create the robot for the LEGO Mindstorms, and then we added some of the sensors and then another little motor, like this sensor or this sensor, and then the motor would be right here. And then we went on to programming it. So what you would do is you would take the steering and then you would set it to go at the angle you want, like say 70 degrees, or 0 degrees would be perfectly straight. And then you'd set how fast you want to go, and then you'd set how far you want to go. And then you would use the same block, but you would set it to what angle you want to turn on. So let's say directly to the left, and then for how long. And then you would choose like a go forward, and then you would and then you would press download and run on the laptop, and it would whatever you programmed to do, it would do.
We moved on and programmed and built our new independent project that is called
CraneBots.
All right, tell us about CraneBots.
So CraneBot is a robot that, as you can tell, it looks like a crane, and what it will do is there's going to be a sensor, and it will look around for these objects, and once it finds one, it will lower down, and then this motor will turn, causing this gear to turn, causing those to close in, and then it will lift up. It will sit like that, and it'll lift up, and then once the sensor senses the white part right here, it'll stop moving. And then we also have a sensor that if it turns too far, it'll stop it from turning, and it can turn to look around. And that is our robot. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.
Now for fall sports wrap-up of the regular season, including some spectacular success stories. The girls' soccer team clinched their position in the playoffs, with Kate Beluzzo and Leanna D'Alessio finishing off as the team's top scorers. Senior goalkeeper Hannah Mooney impressively contributed over 100 saves this season for the girls. The Lady Spartans will meet the Chicopee Pacers in the first playoff match this Sunday at 3 p.m.
After a victorious 17-2 season, the East Longmeadow golf team won the Western Mass Division I championship title. Teammates Noah Peterson and Connor PQ qualified for the individual state Division I title, getting first and second place respectively.
The football team finished the season 4-4, keeping them out of the playoffs this year. Senior Mike Majapinto, however, reached over 5,784 rushing yards, breaking the school's previous record set by John Thorpe. And he leads Western Mass with 1,399 on the season. He remains a strong contender for Mass Live's Player of the Year. The Spartans will play Putnam at home on Friday in a non-tournament game, and of course, they'll be at Longmeadow this year for the annual Thanksgiving Day game against the Lancers.
The girls cross country took the league championship this year under the outstanding leadership of captains Abby Laughlin, Tori Evans, and Abby Raitt. The girls will compete in the Western Mass Division State Championship on November 14th. Boys soccer, field hockey, and girls volleyball ended out of the playoffs this year, but turned in some great wins. Remember, all of LCAT's coverage of Spartan sports is archived at our YouTube channel, LCAT01028.
That will do it for this edition of What's Up. Stay tuned for our next show and send us your ideas for things you'd like us to share about what's up in East Longmeadow Public Schools. I'm John Drake.
And I'm Anthony Federici, and vote to see if you want John to actually grow a beard instead of just peach fuzz.
think at the